Welcome back to Finn vs. History. Once again, I'm joined by Horatio Gould.
Fuck. It's gone.
The horniest man in history.
Shit. That was me drowning in the water.
I thought you were being horny.
No.
Right.
No.
Oh, fuck. Is that
Christ, that'd be
That's an
awful start.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
No, it's cold. Oh, too cold.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. And you join us. We are 600 miles off the coast of Newfoundland in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
It's fucking cold.
It's chilly as heck.
And the Titanic has sunk.
Yeah.
And this is the final part of our epic series.
Yeah.
On the tragic ship's maiden voyage.
Yeah. The portable 911.
The portable 911. This is 1,500 people have died.
Yeah.
To put that into context for the dum-dums, that's about a day and a half's work for Bonnie Blue.
Right.
36 hours, she's got through all of them. She's trying to warm them up, bless her.
Yeah.
They're freezing.
Well, if Bonnie Blue's on the Titanic, surely she's first on the boat, right? If she's ploughing 14, like 1,000 dads, like she deserves a spot on the boat.
Do you reckon you can only get in the lifeboat after you fucked Bonnie Blue? The unsinkable Bonnie Blue. No matter how many dicks you throw at her, she will not sink.
She can't sink.
I assure you she can, and she will. It's a mathematical certainty.
We're here to talk about the survivors.
Yes. The wonderful humane stories of the people that hit the Fatberg and lived.
Well, on it being 9/11, interestingly, it's sort of like a reverse 9/11 because it's like if the plane hit the tower and collapsed, right?
It's the towers hitting the plane.
Yeah.
It's
flipped, isn't it? Yeah.
It's almost like you're victim blaming the buildings for being there.
But it's almost like in the kind of
they were asking
the grand
for
meta narrative. 9/11 is kind of getting its own back.
Well, it's a mirror image, isn't it?
Yeah,
of 9/11. It's reflected. It's a ship that really shouldn't have ploughed into an iceberg. So this is in 1912.
Yeah.
This is the 18th of April.
Right.
This is when the survivors dock in New York.
5 days.
2 days before Hitler's birthday.
Right, 2 days, yeah.
Hitler is still 22 at this point.
Carefree.
He's carefree 22-year-old. I think he has some cares.
Yeah.
I think the condition of the German. I think he's not your average 22-year-old.
No.
He's not sinking pints.
I think he's interrailing at this stage.
Interrailing who?
The German people are being interrailed.
Yeah. No. Yes, he's on a sort of discovery. He's got a one-way ticket around Europe. Yeah. And he's thinking, one day all this will be mine. But he hears about the Titanic shortly before his birthday, and he thinks, blood! Yeah. Because his celebrations are being overshadowed by, one of the first global news stories. Within hours of it sinking, because of the radio distress signals, it's all over Europe, it's all over the news. The families of the paedophiles from Southampton, they're going to White Star's offices wanting news of who's died and who's made it.
What, are they lodging complaints?
Not yet, I don't think. I think they're trying to see who survived.
All right.
People are obviously disbelieving when the news hits. Yeah. But then a boat full of 700 people turns up in New York on the 18th.
Cowards!
And immediately, we're shouting cowards at them for not going down the ship. Immediately, the Americans start an inquiry, which is weird that they claimed it, even though it's pretty much an entirely British operation.
Well, it's Anglo-American, isn't it? It's
American, I guess JP Morgan,
and it's going to New York, so I guess, and all the survivors land in New York, so I guess that's
finders keepers kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's why we know so much about it. Is that there's a lot of testimony from the time.
Yeah.
Because then the Brits did an inquiry as soon as they came back to Britain as well.
Inquiry off.
Yes.
That's the Anglosphere.
They had an inquiry into how the Americans got the inquiry first. Because we love an inquiry.
We fucking love an inquiry here.
And it should be stressed, actually, before we get into the survivor stories, that Churchill comes out and immediately frames the sinking as a
great win.
A great moment for the Anglo-Saxon race.
Yes.
And he frames it that if this had happened to the great empires of Rome or of Greece, it would have been carnage and but no women or children will have come off.
Right.
It would have been the richest man off.
Yeah.
But our boys took one hell of a beating.
Yeah, it's a
died
mental
like
illness being English.
Yeah, we died like gentlemen.
Yeah.
After you. No, you first. No, you first.
Reading about the Titanic and going, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
We really shown ourselves there.
I'm pretty proud to be British, actually.
Building a giant ship that killed thousands of people.
Yeah.
Well, that's bloody brilliant.
Oh, well done. Well done. Well done, our boys. But the whole British Empire is that, isn't it? It's spinning, it's gaining motivation out of hardship and loss.
Yeah.
It's like spinning that as a success.
But also being the richest, most powerful country in the world for like 200 years, but also like only focusing on our underdog stories.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like all of the victories that we hear about, it's Dunkirk.
Yep.
It's Agincourt. It's always
Khartoum.
Yeah. You're never hearing about us in the Sudan just mowing them people
down.
with Gatling.
Yeah. We hear about Rorke's Drift.
Rorke's Drift, of course.
They fought off thousands of Zulus with guns. The Zulus had spears, but we mowed them down from below.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
it's
right. Cause
always
but it's central,
story.
exactly, because that's the only thing that that suddenly makes it okay.
But yeah, I just upset. That's how we always see ourselves, even when we were the most powerful country in the world, had the best technology. We always seen ourselves.
And part of the issue with the Nazis is that they were never the underdog.
No,
they weren't telling themselves they were the underdog.
Yes,
they were the.
Yes, you know. Yeah. Battle of Britain. That's all underdog story. Because even America, they're great. Story, apart from maybe the War of Independence, they don't really have that plucky underdog thing as the same the same way.
No
obsession.
No. So Churchill frames the Edwardian sinking as the fact that everyone went down with the ship and that people just sort of
it's a victory for the stiff upper lip.
Yes, exactly. This is
in -5 degrees didn't even quiver once.
Nope. I'll die now. So there's plenty of space in the lifeboat. No. I couldn't possibly. People are falling and hitting their heads on the propeller. Sorry about that.
Can I just squeeze past?
I'll just squeeze through it. Dong. Is there any room in that lifeboat? No. Never mind. Sorry for bothering you.
Yeah. I heard the band are playing I Got a Feeling as
I
it goes
got
down.
a feeling.
Yeah.
Famously, the band played on. David Guetta.
But the story that we actually forgot to talk about in the last episode, the kind of big controversy, the most controversial.
Forgot to talk about something, didn't we?
Yeah, I can't believe it. Wow. Like I don't know how it slipped through the many checks and balances. How I managed to go over the bulkheads.
Charlie's bulkhead. Charlie. So yeah, Bruce Ismay, who's the big boss, he owns the company. He decides
snotty little rich kid to Americans,
little boy.
Trashy little upstart to Brits. He's the big I guess because who's going to get blamed? The captain gets some, but the real
the captain dies. The captain dies with the ship.
No, but I mean,
we also haven't talked about
reputation.
How Ismay, who is the ship's designer, basically he gets on one of the last lifeboats.
Yes,
and he's
on Murdoch's side, which is letting some men through.
Yeah, and he says he's like, listen, can I get on this ship? And they go, well, it's women and children first. And then his defense is like, it was the last lifeboat leaving. There were 10 spaces. There was no woman taking it.
You would have died. Yeah.
What's the point? I mean, I might as well save my life.
Yeah.
It should also be stressed that Murdoch, who is the guy who was steering the ship, he was in charge on the bridge at the time of the collision. He's the one who took the decision to go hard starboard.
Yeah.
And scrape now, there's conflicting thoughts about whether he shot himself or not. Apparently, the latest is that he did shoot himself, but they didn't want to say that for a bit so that his wife didn't get upset.
Right.
So,
because it's sort of cowardly to shoot yourself.
Yeah,
I guess so. It's less. You'd want to just freeze.
Well, I think it's the most British. Yeah, it's kind of an ungentlemanly way out.
Right.
To fast forward suicide like that.
Yeah, it's interesting because with the British culture, suicide is not. Because in the Romans, suicide was seen as a very noble way out. In Japan, suicide is seen as a very dignified. Mm-hmm. But here, it really isn't. It should be. You should die from other circumstances, even if you should put yourself into a suicidal situation and then die from that.
Yes, and then take it.
Yeah.
Rather than
yeah.
So anyway, Ismay gets in the last lifeboat and he thinks, brilliant, I'm alive. But then literally everyone for the rest of his life thinks, well, you should have died on the ship.
Yeah. And what do you think?
Yeah, he's a coward.
Yeah, I guess so. Because the thing is, there was spare seats, so in that scenario, he didn't push past people to get on. But I guess if it's your fuck up, you should sort of treat it like the captain of the ship and go down with it, I guess.
Everyone, yeah. If the designer's gone down, if the captain's gone, if it's like, oh, we're doing this, then go on. You know,
yeah, because I guess because of his culpability,
it's like when you're all doing shots and someone's like, "Oh no, I don't want to." Come on, we've all got work in the morning, mate, but we're doing shots. We've all. This is all going to fuck us.
Yeah,
and he's like, "I don't want to die." Yeah. He's like, none of us want to die, mate, but we're all doing it.
Yeah. And how did he end? Was he just kind of sad?
He was sad for ages, and then he basically didn't really. He was, funnily enough, for an Edwardian who had been in a disaster, he was quite emotionally unavailable throughout his life. And there's a story about his grandkids, and his grandkids like. Well, at one point, were like, "Oh, Grandpa, look! There's been a plane's crashed or something. What a stupid pilot!" Or someone said something like that from the news because he was bragging about how he could read a newspaper. This like 6-year-old, and apparently he just snapped and went, "Well, if you weren't there, you don't know what happened." And basically, his entire life, he was just thinking about the Titanic all the time.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Christ. But I mean, that's what a lot of dads are like now, but they weren't in the Titanic.
No, and they're thinking about World War II. Daddy, can I have something to eat? You weren't there.
Nor were you, Dad.
Nor were you. It's nearly 100 years ago now. So he eventually resigned from his position as the director of White Star Line, and his name became linked with the scandal of the sinking, which, I mean, he built the fucking thing. Yeah. So fair enough, I think. I don't think it's not a massive jump to link the guy whose idea it was with the big boo-boo of the iceberg. So we've talked about Fang Lang, was that his name?
Yeah, we talked about Fang Lang.
Chinese guy on a door.
On a door.
I mean, Chinese guys in my head are sort of drifting around on doors quite a lot. So like a stop clock, this one's interesting. Molly Brown, who's she's a big woman in the film. She's the big bullshit woman who's like when Cal, who's Billy Zane's character, is like, she'll have the lamb, we'll both have the lamb, you like lamb, don't you? And she goes, you're gonna eat that for her too, Cal?
Is she meant to be a suffragette type?
She's a sassy suffragette,
right?
And she's also the one who
a courgette,
sassy courgette. She basically forces, she's in a lifeboat, and then she's like, hey, y'all, let's go pick up some of the floaty people. And the Edwardian's like, madam, if we pick anyone up, there will be mobs and we'll turn it. And she's like, if you don't do this, I'm going to fucking chuck you overboard.
Yeah.
And anyway, so she does save. I think she saves, there's something like 12, 30, 20 people, I don't know, who are alive because she goes back and pick survivors up, but they do wait till a lot of them have died.
She became a hero in the eyes of many, and her story became a legend with a Broadway musical and film made about her life.
But how interesting was her life before this?
Yeah, well, she's an American socialite and philanthropist, so she's been doing some stuff.
She was in a cabin when the ship hit the iceberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's to me, that's just like the basic survivor story.
Yep.
You got on a boat.
Edith Russell was a first-class passenger and a well-known suffragist.
Oh, what a disgrace. If you want equal rights, you shouldn't have survived this.
Who survived the sinking? She was travelling with her pet.
You were more likely to survive a Titanic if you're a woman by 75%.
Yeah.
75% of women survived.
Yeah.
So if you're a suffragist and you're alive...
You should be livid about that.
You should be livid.
Yeah.
You should be killing yourself as a protest at the inequality of surviving, frankly.
She was travelling with her pet Pekingese dog and was rescued by a lifeboat before the disaster.
And the dog survived as well, did she?
Seemingly.
Was she a fucking dog-fragette or whatever it is? She became an advocate for women's rights. If I tell you what, the best way to do that is drown.
Here's the Strausses, the Macy's department. Keep going.
Oh, so those are the two that so they're called Strausses.
Yeah.
And they that's it.
That's the story, yeah.
That's the two. There's a Jewish couple, and then much like Churchill did, then rabbis in New York go, see, we're not cowardly rats and vermin.
Yeah.
We die with honor as well. It's amazing how everyone basically judges the survivors on the Edwardian British mental health crisis. The Japanese guy, Masamoto, whoever his name was.
It was a big success in Japan.
He is ostracized. The guy who was going around the world the other way, which he really shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
I mean, Japan is so close to that end of Russia. Anyway.
Around the world in 80. Oh, fuck, I'm drowning.
He came back, and then people ostracized him and said he was disgusting and smelly, whatever, because he didn't die the way the Brits did.
Yeah. But then a lot of Japanese people did die, and it was seen as a great victory for Japan.
He was the only Japanese person on the ship, I think.
Don't think so.
Maybe he's the only Japanese survivor.
Right. But yeah, it's funny, the Jewish thing of just like, I don't know, saying C makes it seem like you're the opposite is the case.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it helps your argument.
Yeah.
There's another I don't remember his name, but Stan had a quite funny bit about Jewish people need to stop pointing at people ugly people with big noses and saying, that's me.
Yeah. Are you talking about me, are you? Yeah, whenever anyone draws a cartoon of a Jewish...
it's like, oh, that's my dad. It's like, stop saying that.
Yeah. It's just he just drew an ugly guy. He just drew an ugly guy with a big nose. You're bringing this onto yourself at some point.
Oh, right, and that's me, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit like someone who's like, oh, all priests are paedophiles. Oh, is it? Are we? Well, yeah, you keep saying that. So
there's someone who, whenever he'd hear like a baseball ground near his house, he'd get like PTSD.
Yeah, he lived near Wrigley Field, I think, in Chicago.
And the sound of a home run sounded a lot like the screams of people dying.
Which is weird because I've been to a baseball game. Woohoo!
I
Homer! So that's what the people were screaming in the ocean, was it?
What's that thing they do? That sound.
So people are in the ocean dying, going home run!
There's a kiss cam.
Yeah, there's a kiss cam. Someone's firing a t-shirt cannon from the sinking ship. The fourth down, sponsored by Rolex. Every part of the sinking was sponsored by a brand.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the IPL, where just every single inch of it is sponsored by a cement company or KFC.
Six cam, and it's fucking chicken company or whatever. The Venkies have got 6 cam.
Is there any other good ones? I don't know if there is. Oh, see, there's babies. But let's have a look at her.
Like, let's be honest.
She won't remember it.
She doesn't have a survivor story.
Yeah.
Because she was a baby.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I'm going to say this. This may seem controversial. I don't think she did anything to survive. I think she was handed around.
Yeah.
So I think the survivor stories...
I don't want to hear her... I think her opinion's as good as mine on the Titanic.
Literally is. Genuinely is. You've got more knowledge of what happened on the Titanic than she does. Because you've watched the film. I think she died before the film came out. When did she die?
2009, so after the film.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about the film?
Yeah. Go on, Johnny.
Is the guy that tries to sneak into the boat in the film, is that based on Ismay?
No, there's a myth about someone who dressed up as a woman to get on the life. It's not been proved, but that then got attached to Ismay. So people then said, he's a coward, he's a cuck. He wanted to see the ship get sink and jack off in the lifeboat.
It is absolutely hilarious. So putting a wig on and pretend to be can I get on a boat?
I'm a woman.
Yeah, I've got a child.
That's what Billy Zane does. I have a child.
Yeah.
That's the Rose's. The film is... I mean, like I said, I've said this at the start of this series. The second half of that film's great.
It's great.
When everyone dies. I love that bit. I started watching it this morning and it's fucking 3 hours long.
Yeah.
The first 25 minutes is not...
Yeah, you forget every time I come back to it, I forget that it's all in retrospect. I forgot that it's with this old woman in a submersible.
There's an old woman in a submersible and there's this guy with an earring who's like filming the Titanic from down there. And then do you know what I always think the scariest, the most terrifying bit of that film is right at the end in the present day timeline where you see the old woman's feet. It is fucking grim how gnarly her feet are.
Why are you saying her feet? Why has she got her feet up?
Because she walks out in a nightie and chucks the heart of the ocean into the sea as some kind of like closure.
Well, yeah, that's the great horror of the Titanic.
That's the worst bit of the film is when you see her feet. Her feet are fucked. Old people's feet are the worst.
Should never be seen.
They should never be seen.
Right.
Old people's feet.
What I thought...
Oh, don't get it up. I can't do it. I can't deal with old Rose's feet.
Is that the feet?
Disgusting.
No, that's not the old...
That's a foot. Yeah. 84 years apart. I can't deal with it. This is disgusting. There's a really lingering shot. It's almost as if Tarantino's done it on her old varicose vein feet.
Yeah.
And it's a disgrace. And I think the film should be banned.
It's a disgrace. On moral grounds.
I think the film should be banned on moral grounds. I think, for Christ's sakes, kids are watching this.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. I have a similar opinion on Mary Berry's neck being on show. I think when she was on Bake Off and she wasn't wearing a turtleneck, I thought, for God's sake, Mary, think of the children. You've essentially got a wattle, is what you've got there. I think white people age horrifically badly. And I think if you're white and you're elderly, you basically need to be wearing a full burqa. It's my opinion.
Whereas Iranian women, they grow age gracefully. They should get the burqas off.
I think the burqa should be age dependent. I think.
What is that?
Oh my God! I can't deal with old people's feet,
with
Charlie.
Bunion.
That is bunions. Oh God, she should have gone down with that ship if she'd known what her feet were going to look like. Because she also makes this noise. She goes, oh. And it's just the whole thing is just grim. It's disgusting.
It's just deeply erotic.
I hate how erotic I feel. I think she's a witch. She should be burnt as a witch, I think.
Watching the film.
Old people's legs. Even worse. Oh my God. Old people's cold legs. Is there anything worse? I think the big
Starmer, pay for the winter fuel. I can't have any more.
I can't handle old people's legs.
Chilly legs.
It's disgusting.
I thought the funniest thing they could have done with the Titanic, because I didn't realise it was all her recounting the story, right, to all those guys. When it comes back and you've forgotten that it's her talking, and then what would be amazing is when she's finished talking, the reverse shot of all the guys, and they're all just... like you could easily just edit it.
Yeah. But in what actually happens is so when she gets drawn by Leo all naked, it goes back to them and they're all like, so did you do it? And they're all like frat boys, like, yeah, did you fuck him? And it's like, she's a 90-year-old woman. Did you fuck him?
Oh, fuck yeah, that's so fucking hard.
Yeah. These horny guys have been in a submersible. Like, did you fuck it? Oh, yeah. What happened next? Did you come and you... what a slut. Yeah, it's weird, that bit of the film.
Yeah, it's very long.
It's very long.
I watched it with my girlfriend. It's a his and hers.
The first half is for her.
But it means that you can both...
She's nudging you at the hour and a half mark when he rings the bell. Fat burger head, huh? Whoa,
but it's like
fun.
when I watch football and then I watch Love Island with BB. It's like, but you're getting that in all in one product. So it's quite a nice balance there.
I think that's why the film did so well.
Yeah.
Is that it's,
Yeah, mechanics and death for the boys.
Yeah.
The love story for the girls.
Yeah. There was a story about a guy, a pitman, or a stoker, who he managed to get off the Titanic. He's one of the few engine room guys to survive, and he also worked as a stoker on the Britannic and the other one, the Olympic, and they both had incidents that he survived. Now you could say there's a pattern emerging here. This guy's very bad at his job, but then he was also on a World War. Oh no, he was on the Britannic, and this is in World War One.
Yeah,
he was off the coast of Greece, got hit by a landmine, a sea mine that the Germans had planted, and he survived that as well. And he basically just survived pretty much every naval disaster that happens for like 5 years. Known as the unsinkable stoker.
Well, they've used unsinkable twice now.
Arthur John Priest.
Is everyone who survived unsinkable? Right? And then how did he die?
He just I don't know, had a stroke.
So he did, so he managed to...
He lived, he did it. He got to the end.
Amazing.
He got to the end. Arthur John Priest, that was his name. So after the Carpathia has arrived, they then send boats to go and look for survivors. Yeah. And they uncover, there's a day where one boat uncovers 300 bodies.
Right.
And bear in mind, these are bodies that froze. So they're all, like that. And they're all in the middle of a baseball game. They're all frozen.
Right.
And in order to get them into coffins, they basically have to fucking snap limbs off and stuff. Yeah, and break their limbs off to break thumbs off.
One guy's doing an Egyptian dance.
They're all frozen like swastikas like that. And they go, for fuck's sake, they have to break their arms off and stuff. But all the first class passengers that drown, somehow they've differentiated because they could all identify because they're frozen. They get embalmed.
Really?
Yeah. On there and then, they're embalmed.
There and then?
Yeah. There's a photo of them being embalmed.
So they brought the embalming kit with them?
Yeah. I never go anywhere without my embalming kit.
Well, as we said, it is the way that we both want to go.
First and second class were embalmed, and then third class, they just kind of smushed them into boxes.
Snap them.
Snapped, yeah.
What is the embalming... What's the point of... Are they going to be put on display? What's the point of embalming someone if they're not on display?
Well, these guys are heroes. They went down with the ship.
Right. Okay.
So I think
where are the embalmed bodies now? Are they just in their tombs under the ground?
I don't know.
What's the point in embalming someone if I can't have a peek?
One of the people that survived was then buried at sea, which feels a bit that feels a bit on the nose, doesn't it? Why don't we go back to that thing you hated being part of and lay you to rest there?
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly when in the daylight hours. It's like an afters when the sun's coming through, and you're just like, there's 1,500 dead frozen people.
It's like you come back from and your flatmates had a house party,
Yeah.
and you come back and it's like 10 a.m. and everyone's just strewn over sofas like that with beer cans, and you're like, fucking hell, lads.
Christ.
It's 10 a.m. So the actual wreck, obviously, is at the bottom of the Atlantic, and no one knows where it is for ages.
Right.
1985, a guy called...
Why was it so hard to find the wreck? Because didn't they know where it went down?
No, they didn't, because it's literally a needle in a haystack, because as I've said before, the sea is fucking massive.
But where all the dead people were?
Yeah,
or they all floated?
Yeah, but so at the time, they have no technology to get down there, or any kind of like sonar or anything like that. So, 1985, there's a guy called Robert Ballard,
right?
Who
Ballard?
Ballard. Now, interestingly, the CIA are paying him to find. Is it some lost American military vessels or some submarines?
Okay.
And he says, "Can I take the money from that?" And they say that you've got 2 weeks, and he goes, "Yeah, if I find them in like a week, can I spend the next week looking for the Titanic?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure."
Right. So get your work done early, and then
yeah. And that's exactly what he does. He does it really quick, and then uses the money and the technology that they've been given to find the Titanic. And the way he does it,
finds.
Yeah.
Nice.
The way he does it is that everyone had been looking for the actual ship, which is like, that's going to take fucking ages. Yeah, yeah.
On the shoreline, squinting.
Remember, it sunk. Oh yeah, right. So they get their goggles. They get their goggles on and just sort of
come up for air.
Yeah. The first guy to try has a snorkel, and he's got flippers. He's like, right, I'm going in.
I can't get that far down.
I can't see it, actually. I can't see it. It's really dark down there. No, the way he does it is rather than look for the wreck, he looks for the debris field. So when he's combing the ocean floor, he's like, there'll be a debris field of like cutlery and plates and shit. And that's what he's looking for. And he finds that because that's a much wider surface area than the ship.
So you can narrow it down.
And then he finds that, and then he finds the ship. And the bow is basically completely intact, and it's being eaten by an iron-loving parasite bacteria that was only discovered because it was discovered when they discovered the Titanic. So it's called it's like bacteria titanicum or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it's disintegrating.
It's slowly eating the iron. It's feeding off the iron. But so in about 100 years, it won't be there.
Right.
But so there is a mad plan to try and get it to Belfast and preserve it.
It would be sick.
Which would be sick. Yeah, I'd love that. Because to be fair to Belfast, they have just got an empty space where the Titanic was, which is their tourist attraction, and it'd be pretty cool to actually get it back. So he goes down there in a little fucking submersible thing, finds it.
But there's a whole community and industry building now around the Titanic after it's found, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, James Cameron gets obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So apparently, when they first find the Titanic, this is fun. They got spotlights because it's completely dark down there. Because it's the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
Yeah.
I learned so much from you.
Yeah. They shine a light and then they see like a flashing light on the Titanic. They're like, oh, fuck.
Was there someone down there?
No, it was a mirror.
Oh, right. Fair enough.
But for a minute, they're like, huh?
So I was like, finally.
Someone's been holding their breath. Someone's been holding their breath for 70 years.
Someone's still playing squash.
Yeah.
Someone went to the Turkish spa and just didn't realise.
Yeah, the door was closed, so it was fine. No, but apparently, because there's no current or like exposure to bacteria inside the ship,
it's pretty well preserved.
They think so, yeah. And so,
well, then have they not been in there?
They have been in there with little boys, little robots and drones and shit. And it's not been ruled out that there's still bodies in the deepest parts of the ship, such as the engine room. And what they need to do,
but that's not a big thing, is it?
Bodies.
Yeah, we know there's loads of bodies.
No, but they'll be pretty well preserved because there's no bacteria.
Oh, right.
So they might be like,
okay,
just like, like that.
That's good.
Which would be pretty sick. And
embalm them.
Get them embalmed.
I'm very trigger happy with embalming.
Embalm everyone, I think.
Get an embalm.
Embalm people who are still alive.
Yeah, and then do like get like a terracotta army of embalmed people. That's what I'd like.
That would be fucking great. Imagine you, like, and your stag do is embalmed for life.
Yeah.
And you've got your nicknames on the back, like Shagger, and that's how you're buried.
Yeah, penis warrior.
So, the wreck's found in 85, and then there then begins this industry of essentially...
rich white guys
and their autistic sons going to see the Titanic. So there's a company called Ocean Gate,
right. Which already sounds like a scandal.
Yes, yeah, it sounds like an email you'd get.
Don't put gate in there.
Yeah,
Ocean Gate. So this is Ocean Gate. This is
Ocean Gate. Yeah. They begin the development. Now, again, to say the development of the Titan Submersible when it's essentially a baked bean can powered by an Xbox controller, seems like there wasn't much development. It seems like...
Now, how did that end up? Did they leave it too late and then rushed it at the end? Were they trying to cut corners? Like what?
Well, do you know what it reminds me of? Is right at the beginning of this story when we're talking about the building of the Titanic. Yeah. There was a guy who was a concept. He had to draw the concept of a boat.
And now he had to build... The guy who drew the concept... If he had to build the actual boat, that's what the Titan Submersible.
Exactly that. It's the guy who went, oh yeah, we'll just draw a really big ship and it will float somehow and there'll be a swimming pool in it. And...
Can we not afford someone to make it? No, you've got to make it.
Right. In that case,
Heinz Bain beat can. Let's make that much bigger.
Yeah, and
like twice the size.
Twice the size.
It's going to be bigger than that.
And I'll power it with an Xbox controller because I like playing Halo. So that'll be that. And so they begin the development of this baked bean can with the goal of enabling manned deep sea exploration to extreme depths.
Was this the first voyage of this submersible?
No, it had. I think it'd been running for a while.
Okay, fine.
But it's similar to the space thing in that, like, because obviously it's the pressure down there is pretty unforgiving.
Sure.
There's an unforgiving air quality.
No matter how good you are under pressure.
You think you're good under pressure? Try 2.5 miles down. Turns out pressure's got something on you. So it's the whole point is that basically the manned subs can fit 2 people basically,
right? Because
they're so small. In Titanic, in the film, in that boring beginning bit, the windows the windows are 9-inch thick.
Right.
That's because, and then he has a line, the fucking guy with the camera is like, these windows are 9 inches thick. If there's one scrape on the hull, we're all saying sayonara.
Right. Whereas these guys, it was just, they didn't even have windows.
They didn't have any windows, which is weird seeing as it was a fucking trip to see the Titanic.
Yeah, they'd left the windows open when they went under.
Can you shut that? Oh, fuck. Yeah. So basically this starts this Titanic wreck tourism.
Yeah.
Which...
Well, it's rich guys' Ripper tours. Like I went on a Ripper tour for Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
Because it's quite affordable, But this is it's the same shit, but just on a much higher level.
It's the echoes of history that you have the Titanic, which is seen as this pleasure dome for billionaires.
Yes.
And then you have those same billionaires in our time going to and see the Titanic and getting killed by it. It's just...
Yeah, poetically, it's unbelievable.
It's the perfect cherry on the top of this big pooey cake.
Well, yeah, it's also funny that a tragedy that claims so many lives 100 years later still claiming lives. That's what's incredible.
It's like someone falling into the 9/11 memorial. It's going, oh, look at that.
Do they get added to the list?
They're technically a casualty. They are technically a casualty.
Al-Qaeda, you think they're not strong, there's still people dying.
There's still people dying.
It's like Chernobyl. It's got this like...
a very long tail. Yeah. So 2021, they start testing this fucking baked bean can to ensure its ability...
Like, well, it's brilliant holding baked beans. Yeah. We know that's for sure.
Beans are famously incredibly active substance. Ensuring its ability to
first thing we've
handle...
got to get the beans out the can before we get in
That takes about a year. Because they're American, they don't know how to open a fucking can. 2022.
Do Americans not know how to open cans? Is that a thing?
Well, they have weird cans. They're called like they drink beer out of like quartz.
Right.
It's called a quartz.
But they're not using a can opener.
No, they have they stab them.
I don't like can openers.
Really?
Yeah. the way you looked at me.
How are you opening?
Who is this man sitting across from me?
How are you opening cans then?
I try and avoid it where possible. I much prefer the peel ones
Ring
and
pull.
roll.
Yeah, but what happens when they break?
We have to use a can opener.
Yeah, there you go.
Charlie's now poked his head around. He's fascinated by this. He wants to know what I'm going to say next.
Do you like a can opener, Charlie?
No, I have the exact same stance.
It feels like boomer nonsense to me.
Opening cans.
Yeah, it's just like there must be better technology than this because it's so hard to do, and it hurts, and it's these jagged sharp. People always get cut. Someone always dies.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is?
What?
Both of you need to buy better can openers.
Probably.
You've got shit 99p can openers.
Yeah.
Invest.
How much are you spending on your can opener?
30 quid.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, it can open anything.
It's proper. Can it open you up emotionally?
No. It's not a fucking arse opener. It's a can opener. That's where my soul lives, by the way, is my arse, which is something that I'm still disagreeing with my therapist
Finn,
about.
You don't open up enough. No, not that way, Finn.
Yeah.
Put it back. Pull your trousers up.
Yeah, I've been through several therapists. One session every time. How are you feeling? Get the arse cheeks out.
So I need a better can opener.
I spent. I won't lie. I spent quite a lot of money on kitchen equipment after my last tour because I had the funds and I thought, fuck it.
Can we run through some highlights
of things I bought?
Yeah.
So a stainless steel pan because I follow that pan guy on Instagram and
is the stainless steel one? What's the benefit of the stainless steel one? I'm actually interested.
Right. Well, if you thought this couldn't get any more boring, the thermodynamics of steel is much better than iron, and also supposedly the Teflon substance is bad for you if you get cut. Stainless steel has the best distribution of heat of any cooking.
Because you think this is boring, but this is exactly what I ordered. This is going to get people people are going to have more opinions on this than the Titanic.
Do you think?
Definitely.
Right.
When you said how long it'd take to drive to Bristol, the comments went mad.
Oh, they did go mad. But I was right.
Yeah. I know, and I've never seen you dive into the comments more than defending yourself.
This was on the Patreon where I said that it could take up to 6 hours to get to Devon from East London.
And I've seen, you'll never get involved in the comments, but you saw that.
I saw that as an affront.
You really did.
It's like if you leave at the wrong time, and Devon's a big area, you're going far down. It could take 6 hours.
So I got a stainless steel pan, but I feel when I cook like a pan fry sea bass on there, it's so hard to get off. It all gets stuck on there. Go on.
So what you need to do is you need to leave it to heat up for a while.
How long do you think I got?
4 minutes. 5 minutes. Set a timer. Leave it on a high medium heat.
Okay.
What you're looking for is something called the Leidenfrost effect.
He sounds like someone who did a war crime in Nazi Germany.
Well, he may well have been.
He's like a Nazi sign. So
you
Leidenfrost.
You let the pan heat up and then all the Jews disappear and then you can start cooking. No. The Leidenfrost effect is where you add... the way you find it is if you pour a tiny bit of water on the pan that's what you're looking for. When it achieves that, you know that it's non-stick and you can put a tiny bit of oil on
and then
move it around the pan and then it won't stick.
So
and then you put sea bass down, right? And then you don't touch it, leave it, and then see if it moves, and if it unsticks naturally, it's ready to be flipped. What I reckon you're doing...
so you just keep going until
leave it. Don't. I reckon you're bothering your fish. What do you think I'm doing? You're bothering your fish like the Titanic did.
No, come on, come on.
I reckon you're putting a cold pan and you're shoving a wet fish in there,
slapping it about, going. I'll tell you what. Me in the kitchen. Have you seen Stomp?
Yes.
You know the concept. That's me.
Yeah, bang.
I'm fucking hammering on the bins.
Yeah, well, you've got like kitchen dysfaxia, haven't you?
Yeah.
Kitchen dyslexia. Where you're putting fucking, you're putting stuff in the fridge. You think it's the oven.
So what about? I see these adverts.
You're turning on the microwave, thinking it's the tap. I mean, you've got no idea what's going on.
I'm sticking my head in the oven.
You've got kitchen fraxia or whatever.
I was like, let me just drink out the tap. Head in the oven, gassing myself.
Exactly. It's. What
about Hexclad? Have you seen those?
I've got a Hexclad stainless steel pan.
Right.
5,
So that's the big one.
Yeah, because Gordon
Ramsay seems to love them.
Because it's the way it's bound. If the Titanic was Hexclad, it may have stood more chance.
Right. So you'd recommend Hexclad?
Yeah. Hexclad, 5 sheets.
Durable.
Stainless steel pan.
You can't put them in the dishwasher?
You probably can.
Because it's Hexclad.
I don't, but you can because it just may scratch it. So it's just cosmetic. But
aesthetic, you mean?
Yeah. It's cosmetic damage that it would do. It might scratch it, but yeah.
Brilliant. So what were we talking about? I'm actually quite invested
Talking
in
about
that.
the submersible that went to find the Titanic. So,
I mean, yeah, you had a joke about this. We had one on For Most of the Internet as well. That'd be your favourite way to go.
Yeah,
it is. You're probably right. It is probably the quickest death.
It's the best death. Yeah. Because if you compare it to the death of the people on the Titanic, right? And Charlie, I know what you're going to say, and I think that's wrong. If you compare it to the death of the Titanic, people on the Titanic froze to death in 8 minutes, broadly, right? 8 minutes, we've done stand-up a lot, where you're dying in your ass.
Yeah,
8 minutes is a long time. To be metaphorically dying, to be actually dying, you're gonna feel that, right? Now in the submersible, so we need to carry on the timeline.
Now, what stupid thing were you going to ask Charlie?
No, what he was going to say, right, is that he thinks that they were aware that were going to die
for 48 to 71 seconds.
Now I know for a fact that's not true.
What? How do you know?
A fact?
Yes, I saw it on TikTok. Because if there's a leak, whenever the fucking thing, they knew they were lost, right? They knew they were lost down there. I haven't really explained what this is yet, have we?
What?
Everyone knows.
Submersible going down to the...
So five rich
cunts,
five rich cunts in a baked bean can go down to see the Titanic.
Dads and sons.
It's dads and sons.
It's what happens when you try and do father-son bonding.
This is why you shouldn't speak to your sons. You shouldn't speak to them because it just leads to death, right? They're in a baked bean can. It's controlled by an Xbox controller. It's unregulated, blah, blah, blah. They get down there, and what happens is they go so low down and it's not actually built properly, and the thing implodes. Now, what happens is that the thing imploded quicker than the people's nervous system takes to respond to information. So they wouldn't have felt any pain. They wouldn't even have acknowledged that it would happen. They would have just been 1 minute. Do you feel a breeze? The next minute, that's it.
Do you think they even feel the breeze? Yeah.
Is there any chance that they would have known that the breeze was going to happen? So they might have died immediately.
Yeah, that's his point. I guess that was Charlie's point. Is like, do you think they knew that they
might have known it was fucked for a bit, and then
they knew they were missing.
I'm sure they didn't know that there was any pressure potentially going to come in.
No, I think they're like, oh shit, we can't. The controllers run out of battery. That's probably the last thing they thought.
Let's get the animation of it happening. It's a satisfying one.
It's fucking great.
Yeah, it makes me feel like.
But their bodies turn to liquid quicker than their nervous system could react to it.
Yeah.
So it is without question the most exquisite death you can have.
It's like being Rubinho on the wing in his prime to the Grim Reaper. Like, you're doing step overs, drop the shoulder, and he has no time to. Do you know what I mean?
But to be honest, even if they knew it was going to happen, then it's like Arjen Robben, where you know what he's going to do, but you can't stop him.
Can't stop him. Cut in.
Kind of cut in, left foot, top corner, goal.
It's a perfect death.
And also, what would have happened, it wouldn't have looked, because the actual tin can, they brought it up and it was like, do you remember?
Yeah.
But the people were just mush. They're in the sea.
Because the pressure.
They can't handle pressure, these people.
These guys are terrible.
These guys are terrible under pressure. Do you not remember that? The whole point was this was a team building exercise to try and get them more resilient.
And then the thing with this, as we've seen with the billionaire assassination by Luigi Mangione, there is going to be absolutely no sympathy for billionaires. There is just not an ounce. It's completely fair game.
Yes.
If a billionaire dies in an accident, it's fair game to say whatever you like about him, to have not an ounce of sympathy.
No. But Mangione wasn't even an accident. He just got point blank assassinated. And was like, well, he earned too much money. But then there was sympathy for the billionaires on the Titanic, weren't there?
Well, what do you mean? Well, yeah, at the time, though, they didn't have this view that billionaires were... I also think that the view of billionaires completely changed. Because Gilded Age billionaires, for all of their excesses, there was still like a social responsibility in a way of like the Carnegie and all of those sort of Vanderbilt and all those sort of that age of America. They were building theaters, railroads. They were like great public works. Like, the money was coming back in a way.
Musk is building Twitter.
Or rockets,
Rockets, yeah.
It just doesn't feel like the billionaires now are doing the same. They're wearing T-shirts, so it doesn't look like they're billionaires. I'm one of you.
And they're arguably contributing to societal collapse with the Facebook disinformation thing.
Exactly. I just think the billionaires should also dress richer.
Yes, I agree.
I think celebrities should stop acting like they're not better than us. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I just think it's better. I think in the woke era...
Us is quite a...
What?
I've got 500,000 Instagram followers.
Better than me.
I should be dressing. I should be in a tux, really.
Yeah, because I felt like during the kind of like Jamila Jamil kind of woke era of celebrities where it's like, I'm just like you guys. It's like, you're hot, you're talented, you're rich, act like it.
Yeah.
Stop pretending that you're
the
a
privilege.
pig fuck.
Enjoy the privilege.
And that's why I just rate people who are just unapologetically elite and better.
Yeah, I agree.
As opposed to like, I wear a t-shirt and I'm like, grow up.
Yeah, fuck off.
Fucking invest in some class.
Yeah. So, blah, blah, blah. Titan's a baked bean can. Everyone dies there too. The Titanic strikes again.
And another
goal! It's a late second for the Titanic.
I guess a 9/11 with there's a Greek level lag between.
Oh, it's Test cricket 9/11 again.
Well, is it Test cricket or is it's just the Greek guy? Oh fuck, we were meant to do another one.
Not today. It's too hot. No, do you know what it is? It's like it's a game of Test cricket where day one is insane. Yeah. And it's like 20 wickets fall on day one.
Yes.
And then day two, they're like, right, let's actually play Test cricket.
Yeah.
And nothing happens.
Rained off third day.
Fourth day, nothing happens. And then the fifth day is insane where they just fast forward everything. That's what it's like. Well, if you're still listening to us, which is questionable given that we're 3 hours in.
I think there's some people who might be passed out on the floor who can't turn it off.
Yeah. I think.
And it's just sort of on the YouTube up next is sort of playing it.
Yeah. We're getting a lot.
They're sort of crawling towards the phone begging for help because they've injured themselves on a can opener. Maybe this is still playing as they slowly fade away.
Yeah. I think that pretty much wraps up are there any more closing thoughts you'd like to say on the Titanic?
Not one.
So just to make sure that we're all still, I know it's been a bit more of a fluid episode, this one, in terms of timeline. The Titan submersible was about 70 years after Hitler's last birthday.
Right.
Hitler has been dead for some time.
Yeah. Which is, when did he die? Was he like 57?
45 he died. How old was he when he died? He died in 1945.
No, I think...
It's quite funny when you Google Hitler, which I obviously do every day. That's what I wake up to.
His 50th birthday was just before the World War II started.
It says he was born in wherever he was born, and he died in the Führerbunker.
56.
Führerbunker. That's what it's called. Der Führerbunker.
Can we go to the Führerbunker?
So I've tried to go in. They've obviously they've obviously got rid of it all, but there's a plaque. There's like on the walking tour around Berlin that you do. Yeah, they show you. So have you done it?
I did. I've done a walking tour in Berlin.
So there's the bit where all the books are burned, and they've got this memorial where you look down through a glass plaque, and it's like a fake library underneath, kind of showing all the missing books. And then they walk you to the spot where the Russians got into the bunker, but there's just no memorial. There's nothing.
The Russians get there first.
Yeah, well, the Russians are made of Berlin.
Yeah, but the Allies were there as well.
No.
Were they not in the Battle of Berlin?
Soviets take Berlin. That's why it's so bad.
Oh, right. Of course, it's the eastern side.
Eastern side.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, she's got big cans. Who's that? Is that Eva Braun? Fucking hell, Hitler, you dirty dog. Bloody hell. She'd have been all right in the Titanic. She would have floated, I'll tell you that much. Christ, a couple of life jacket puppies she's got on her. Bloody hell! I didn't think Hitler had it in him. The sly dog. Well,
I could be a vegetarian with a guns like that. No worries.
I could live off milk if that's the jugs they're being served in. I could live off that.
The level of self-restraint for us to not do an episode on the Nazis on Main yet is extraordinary. The amount we've skirted around doing the Nazis.
Yeah.
I hope you appreciate that because...
God. Soon, though. Soon. It's like the iceberg.
The storm clouds of war.
Like the iceberg. We are dead ahead. Admittedly going at 20 knots. So we'll take some time, but when we get there, it's going to be fucking chaos.
In blood.
It's going to sink this ship.
Blood.
In blood! Anyway, so that concludes our series on Hitler's birthday week, of Hitler's 23rd birthday. The Titanic sank while he turned 23, but that's kind of by the by. If you'd like a bonus episode this week,
yes, please.
Then there's one on the Patreon, depending on when this episode comes out.
We don't know which one it's going to be.
No, we don't. Oh, it might be in the Costa Concordia.
Yeah. Which is the Italian Titanic.
The Italian Titanic. We're going to do that on the Patreon.
Is it Italian? I don't even know if it's Italian.
I think it definitely is Italian.
Fine.
It's fucking hilarious. That's on the Patreon. You get a bonus episode every Friday, and you get all the episodes for the week in one go on Monday morning. And it's there's also some bonus stuff, including our 4-part series on the rise of the Nazis, which we will be continuing at some point. Anyway, if you're still listening, my God, you've stuck us out.
Fair play.
Fair play to you. And we will see you for a different topic next time.